So it's about, the topic is about sharing myself, whatever that even means, and exploring that topic. And most of us are feeling, but I don't want to share myself. We feel very, I want to say, stingy or greedy with like, but there's got to be a good reason, an emotional injury about it. And then some of us are going, but I do want to share myself. And yet, is it so that, is it to meet somebody else's addiction? Is what we're saying sharing ourselves just addictions? Is that what, and therefore you're not really sharing yourself, you're just in the facade of the addictions. So, and that is exactly what I want to explore today. I don't know the answers, and I'm really curious with what we're going to get from our guides around that. So yeah, that's really good insights. Because we have the should, and if you have to should yourself, then you're not really sharing yourself, you're just in some addictions, potentially. I wonder. We'll have to see what we discover for ourselves. What else? Anita?
Yeah, I feel like I don't want to share myself until I'm more pure, pure. But I have been sharing myself. I can always share my shitty self, telling all the shit about myself.
Yeah, that's you sharing your judgment about yourself.
That's what I have been doing, but I'm getting better. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's really cool, Anita. You've discovered your passion this week, which is singing. Your voice. Yeah, it's really exciting to hear that. Okay, so that's a really good point. Also, soft put tones. Thank you. What else? Kathy. Sorry, Toronto Kathy.
Soon to be Kitsilano Kathy.
Just moving back. No, he's happy.
If I were to share something about me, I'm afraid to be me.
Okay, perfect. Which is what's happened to all of us since birth. What are your feelings coming up around it?
So much fear, judgment, the law of attraction thing that I'm starting to really see. Like as soon as I kind of start to step out and show myself a little bit, bad things happen. You know, they're not terribly bad, but to me, they just impact my psyche like, like I can't even cope, and I just must shut down. So it's like, I feel right now like I'm in a pinball machine and I'm just binging from like one side to the other. Oh, this is an addiction. Oh, this is a feeling. Oh, I don't want to feel that. Like I'm just like banging all over the place. So,
yeah, that's really good awareness, and that is what it looks like when you first start to. Yeah, I mean, not even first. I do this every day. Going, no,
and the lights are going and things are banging, and it's like, and I just want, like, I went to bed last night literally wishing I could just hook myself up to some drug that would just knock me out, because it's like,
take me out.
Yeah, it's so overwhelming. So that's me.
Perfect, thank you. And yeah, that's a really good thing that's happened to all of us since birth. We were being us, and the response we got from it has made us become afraid of being who we are. And to the point where most of us don't even know what that even means. Who is that in here? How do I even discover that? Good point. Yeah. Other opinion? Yeah, Steph?
While Kathy Clow was sharing, I immediately wanted to ask, well, what actions can I take to share myself today?
Yeah. Why don't we ask that? Perfect. So let's move to what questions do we want to ask now that we're warmed up and all upset and triggered. Let's find out. What do you want to know? I've got a list of questions, and then why don't I want to share myself? What actions can I take to share myself today? Yeah, Jill?
How to lovingly share yourself. Like,
Yeah.
Right? Within God's laws. Like, how do you lovingly share yourself? Yeah.
Because, if nobody else wants it, then what are you supposed to do? Shut down?
Yeah.
Make new friends? Give up your friends? What does that mean? Yeah, exactly. Okay. What other questions do you want to ask about it? Grace?
What are the benefits to myself and those around me?
What are the benefits? I would split it up to myself, ask that question, and then ask and to others, so that you get separate answers. And Casey has, can you show me examples of when I have shared myself in harmony? So give me examples. And that's really good, because then you can remember what it felt like, so that you know what that feeling is when you're really sharing yourself, and then you can lean more into it. Because we must be sharing ourselves in some shape or form somehow at some point. Other questions we can think of?
Maybe something around boundaries. How do you share yourself with? I'm not really sure how to word it, because sometimes you share yourself and you lose yourself. There's a sense of vulnerability when sharing yourself. How to share in like a healthy way, I guess.
So what you're saying is, how can I share myself while controlling how the environment responds to me?
Yes, exactly.
Yep. So I'm not going to answer that one.
Okay, Dharm, great. Glad we got to the bottom of that one today.
It's beautiful how you get exposed, but you know what, Sandy, that's everyone's questions. How can I not have to experience pain or not have emotion triggered when I share myself? Because when you share your true self, there tend to be a reaction. There can be a reaction, and if you want to negotiate with that as a condition to sharing yourself, then you're not sharing yourself. And you're not expressing yourself. Hold on, Steph. Kathy, yes?
I was just going to say, how do you access that authentic self that you resonated with as a child? Like, the childhood authentic self.
How can I connect to the real self?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was thinking that, if you're sharing yourself, there's the addiction facade layer, there's a hurt self, and then there's a real self. So I was thinking, well, if you're being emotionally honest and you're connecting to the hurt child, if somebody asks to share, or if you're being honest with where you're at, then that's what you're sharing. But those were my questions. It's like, what about a hurt self? Are you sharing yourself? If you're sharing your hurt, how do you share that? By owning it, not projecting it. So these are all the many questions that come up. And Steph, did you have a?
Well, it was in between what Sandy was saying and what Casey's question was, well, what does it look like when I'm negotiating sharing myself? Like getting into that specific, like beyond the block maybe?
And the question is, am I even sharing myself anymore in that case?
Yeah, well, that would be like, to be, right? Like, right, yeah. That was just kind of like my thought of like, well, what does it look like when I'm negotiating? Just so I have like that frame of reference.
I would put that as, am I sharing myself if I'm negotiating to control the environmental feedback? Am I even sharing myself anymore? So am I sharing myself if I am negotiating or controlling environmental response? Because basically you're now in an addiction. There's a demand now. I have a demand that you have to treat me in a certain way when I share myself. So now you're in an addiction. So I would say you're no longer sharing yourself, because that's now an addiction. So I think that's a pretty clear answer, but it's good to get the feeling. Am I sharing myself if I'm negotiating or controlling environmental response? Yeah, okay, that's a good one. Or show me example when I have shared myself not in harmony. I like that. Okay, so I think, Steph, that's what you're trying to say. Show me examples that maybe, because I'm going, are you even sharing yourself at that point? If you're not in harmony, but maybe you are. Example of sharing myself, but I'm not in harmony. So maybe that's when, like myself, I'm sharing my passion, but I'm still in addiction. So I guess that's probably what it looks like. Okay, so we have a list of questions to ask.
I have another one, Dharm.
Go ahead.
What does it feel like to be in harmony with your real self, with your authentic self, and how do you do it?
Yeah, we have got a few variation of that. Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, that is the question. So I'm trying to break it down into those parts. So question I would start with is, why don't I want to share myself? And then I want to ask, how is not sharing myself affecting me? And how is not sharing myself affecting others? So let's start with that. And then, and then show me example of sharing myself when I'm not in harmony. All right, let's see what we got as answers. A little bit raw and shocking for some of us. Who wants to go? Why don't I want to share myself? Who got answers?
I'll go.
Go ahead, Noreen.
This kind of feels like it's stuff from the past that I'm actually like at the threshold of, it's not exactly me anymore, but it's definitely was. So that feels like movement for me. So that's good. Anyway, the first question, why don't I want to share myself? Because when I'm around people that I assumed would support me or listen to me or value me, rejected me and devalued me. So that was a real indication that you should not be doing that, because if you do, then you're not going to be supported. The second one was, can you show me examples of when I shared myself but was not in harmony with myself? I had a little bit of trouble with that, but I think it was around the same situation around when just previous to my mother dying, when she had died, and just afterward, where I was just consumed by pain and heartbreak and depression. But so I was sharing myself, but I was sharing like all of these raw pieces and in little pieces, and sometimes I would share just so that someone could see how much I was hurting. And so it wasn't in harmony in the sense that it was just like that, and it wasn't it was a feeling of it's not a good feeling, because to me, when I share myself and I feel good, I feel revitalized. So that was a feeling where it was just kind of dug the hole deeper. Okay. And the last one, how it is not sharing myself affecting me and others. The last message I got was, not sharing myself affecting me and others is it makes me look small and I feel small.
Yeah. Really good. Good. Thank you. Okay. Kathy C.
Hi there. I don't want to share myself because it's just too much work and no one cares. And I will be attacked and nothing will change. And no one hears me. I thought that was interesting. And then I moved into, I adapt myself constantly to please others. So how can I even share myself?
Big time. Good away.
How is not sharing myself harm me? Do you want me to go through all of them? It makes me sick and depressed. I don't know who I am or what I want. I'm not living life on my own terms, and I've just given up.
Yeah.
Not sharing myself it's harmed others by they can't rely on me. They don't know who's going to show up. They believe that I side with them because I'm constantly adapting myself.
You're mediating. Yeah.
And then they believe that I live and think a certain way. And then they mistrust me when they find out that how mutable I am. And when I've shared myself not in harmony, it's like I start and then fear takes over and then I start to lie and withhold truth to kind of like, I don't know, not dumb everything down, but just like take the edge off of things. And then I find myself, like I lose myself in trying to control what others think of me. I want them to like me and love me. So it's kind of like this addiction dance that I'm doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's really good that you're already feeling kind of raw and connected to your emotion and not look at all the information coming to you.
Yeah, thanks, Dharm.
Straight
Thanks
on.
for your guidance.
Absolutely. So what you two are seeing already is that, it's the addictions. It's the addictions. It's the addictions that pulls you out of your real self. Sandy, I'll take your answers for the next session. I'm going to have to move on here. The answer I got was that I don't want to share myself because nobody wants me, which was revealing to me that if I have an addiction to being wanted, which I do, then I'm going to be an addiction and I'm not going to share myself because I don't want to feel being unwanted. I also felt that I'm exhausted, that the hurt self is that I'm actually exhausted and in pain and I need to recuperate first. So there's nothing to share because I gotta recuperate, I'm exhausted. That's what I'm really feeling. And also the fear of rejection. And I've harmed myself because I don't feel myself and therefore I feel unnourished. And this explains my low self-esteem. And I can't feel God's feelings. I just can't feel God's feelings. So, which is again another sense of nourishment, which then makes me even needier for addiction. And with others, because what I'm engaging is addiction, the addictions are harming everybody else. And they can't feel me, they can't feel my love, they can't feel an intimacy from me. And I was being shown how my children were affected by my not sharing myself. But I do what Kathy does, which is I gotta negotiate, I gotta mediate, I gotta keep everything calm, I gotta be mutable and put out fires. So everybody think I'm on their side. I have the exact same. So yeah, I do hold back a lot because I don't want to rock the boat or whatever you may want to call it. So, but they're all addictions. And sharing myself not in harmony, the examples are that when I will share myself, but afterward I want validation and I want love, I want feedback. And also I'm not honest with myself on my true motivations before I start sharing myself. So if I'm about to do something that's my passion, take a minute to go, what are my real motivations here? Which are pure and impure, but be honest about my motivation and then share myself. And I don't know if it purifies it somehow, but not letting myself even check in with my true motivation makes it become out of harmony. So those were my answers. So let's go to the next set of questions. The next 3 questions are, what does it mean to share myself? What are the benefits of sharing myself to myself and to others? Make that 2 questions. And give me examples when I've shared myself in harmony with laws, with God's laws. So what does it mean to share myself? What are the benefits of sharing myself to me and to others? And give me examples of sharing myself where I've been in harmony. All right, very, very insightful answers, I assume. And let yourself go back to these questions after and continue to go deeper into the answers. What we learned from the kindness workshop was that the second time got even better than the first. You know, the first time we're opening our desires to learn more about the material, and then the second time we got even deeper, and it was beautiful. So, well, one of my insight I'm having right now is that I don't want to share myself because I don't want to feel the emotion of rejection. It's not about being rejected, but about me not wanting to feel the emotion of it. And in one of my answers, what I got was that when I share myself, I'm actually including people. I'm inviting them in, I'm including them. So basically, I'm the one rejecting everybody else by not sharing myself. So it's a bit of an irony that in my not wanting to feel emotional rejection, I'm creating it in everybody. I'm not sharing myself, so they're not being included into my life, into my experience. That's a little plot twist there for me. Okay, so who would like to share what they got? Kathy C.
Sorry, I don't want to share, but can you just repeat that bit that you just said about your realization that you had?
Yeah. So one of the reasons why we don't want to share ourselves is we don't want to be rejected. We're like, oh, I don't want to be rejected, so I'm not going to share myself because somebody may reject me. Well, that's not what you're afraid of. You don't want to feel the emotion of rejection inside of you. You don't want to have to go back and remember the emotion of rejection that you haven't worked through. So it's the feeling you're avoiding. Because once you've grieved all of your rejections, you'll feel like people have free will and they're allowed to say no. And it's a good thing that they are being honest and saying no instead of pretending to go along. So that's where you'll get to at some point. And people don't even get a chance to say yes or no if you're not even sharing yourself. But what I realized was that when I do share myself, the other person feel like they're being included and invited. They're feeling accepted. They're being let in, which means that when I'm not sharing myself, I'm actually rejecting people. Because until I share myself, they've not been included in. They've not been invited in. The feeling of being included comes from sharing myself. So if I'm not sharing myself, they are being rejected. So that was insightful. The emotion we're afraid of processing is the very thing we're creating in everybody else. Yeah. Okay, so who got some answers you would like to share? What does it mean to share myself? What did you guys get?
I can share.
No. Go ahead, Sandy.
What does it mean to share myself? I got to give my time, attention, money, energy, talents, emotions, thought space, basically anything that I have to kind of give that to someone else.
Wow.
And then the benefit of sharing myself with myself was to help me detach from what I think is mine and what I cling to.
Okay.
To realize the abundance and the blessings that I have.
Yeah.
And then to be able to connect with my true self, because once I've kind of let go to being detached to these things, then I can then figure out, well, then what is left.
Yes.
And then the benefit of sharing myself with others is to, you know, support others as we are all one. And I think God gives us each a different set of things to share, so that essentially it's meant to benefit the collective. But then again, I think what really stood out for me here with this question is this detachment, is that I'm hanging on to all these things and I'm keeping them for me. And like you said, that keeps them from benefiting others and then essentially benefiting the collective, myself included. And then examples of sharing in harmony. I'm having a hard time with the examples. So the examples of sharing not in harmony, I couldn't come up with anything.
That's okay. Take your time. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. But I came up with, you know, a couple of simple things. Like sometimes I cook things and share it with people around me that don't know how to cook, keep giving to charity. Starting to like just connect with my parents and talk about like different ways in which we can like help my brother heal and things like that. That's been coming up. So kind of sharing what I've been learning on my journey. And that took a lot of bravery, because those are conversations that I normally would not share with my parents because they don't want to let them in. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. I found that when I asked the question about examples of sharing myself in harmony, I actually felt I was going to get some beautiful answers, but it was going to trigger my feeling of worth, and I shut it down. I felt that familiar feeling of, oh no, please don't tell me that. I can't take that right now. So we, in our addiction, we're like, please tell me you like me. And then when we get sincere answers of something that's true, our low self-worth shuts it down, going, no, I can't handle that. Please don't tell me that I've done this thing. That was good. And what Sandy's brought up is that God has created uniqueness in each of us, and that only by sharing can we then contribute that uniqueness that then adds to what the environment needs. So yeah, the world is missing out from that uniqueness that only you can contribute by you sharing yourself. So yes, thank you. Who else? Oh, was it Kathy C had raised your hand? No, sorry, Kathy, yes. And then Steph.
So for me, for what it does it mean to share self-expression and self-love would be the goals.
Okay.
Yeah. And what that means is facing up to my addictions, particularly the addiction that a lot of us deal with is of pleasing others. And then also it would mean feeling those fears, but just facing them anyway, you know, not letting the fear hold you back. Finding nuggets of inner peace that you have felt in the past and drawing upon how you felt when you were in your real self-expression at that time.
Okay.
Drawing from past feelings. And showing up, be engaged and curious.
Okay.
And then willing to ask for help and admit my weaknesses and just, generally learning new ways of being.
Yeah. Okay. Trying new ways of sharing yourself and asking for help. Like, what a beautiful thing to do. Please help me share myself right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Or help me find ways, or help me release the blocks. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Did you want me to speak to the other ones? Or? Sure. And then the benefits would be for myself inner harmony, balance, peace, which radiates outwards to others. Less conflict from within, leading to a more harmonious environment with my relationships, and leading to unconditional love and support.
Wow.
unconditional love for self, and then in turn for others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that delicious?
Some examples of sharing myself in harmony is when I've shared myself when I've cared for my parents in the past.
Okay, wow.
Particularly when we lost my sister. It brought up a lot of loss for me, actually, but finding ways to move that grief would be through the self-expression through music. And singing, is probably one of the best ways for me to find that harmony.
Okay.
Move away from the grief, the dark place.
Get rid of it. No, don't move away. Get rid of it. Embrace it. Pour it out. Don't stuff it back down. It's good that you found it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One of the insights that I got was when I'm like in an experiment with challenging an addiction, and then I don't negotiate and mutate it to include what I think other people want. Like, I thought that was a really interesting example of when I'm in harmony with God's laws and sharing myself, is when I don't. So like, for example, when I just say like, I understand you're upset, but this is the action that I choose to take. Like, that was a very clear example of me sharing myself. And it, like, in those moments, I recall like just how much fear I was triggered with, because I was just choosing to like be curious and experiment with where my emotional motivations were. And I thought that was pretty wild.
Wow. And the word curious keeps coming up here. There's a curiosity that we need to engage when we're sharing ourselves.
Yeah.
Wow. And yet, from your answer, it felt like you were feeling steady. You may be feeling afraid, but in sharing yourself, you felt steady and you felt calm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like this like agitated conviction. It was just like a conviction that didn't come with a ton of anger and judgment. It was just like, that's okay. I'm going to do this.
There's nothing to negotiate. That's lovely. That's a really good example. That must be when I'm actually sharing my real self. A lot of the fears are released or not engaged. Addictions are not being engaged. It's a very empowered place.
Yeah.
It's very empowering. Beautiful. Okay, so I got to share my dreams and aspiration and deepest longings. Let them be seen. Speak truth of my feelings and fears without needing anything from others. And the benefit is I will feel my real self and fall in love with my true self, and my self-esteem will grow. You tend to like who you really are. When you start to express your real self, you tend to really like that part. And then others get to feel feelings from me that energizes them, and they feel included. And examples are when I explore my questions and curiosities and dilemma. Like when I'm asked, when I'm exposing, going, here's the question, here are my doubts about it, here's what I'm thinking, here's all the little pathways coming out of it. So again, I'm sharing my curiosity and my dilemma about a certain topic with another. That is being harmony as well. I also to share what I wish for others, which tend to be a prayer. It is my wish for somebody to be able to have something or gain something or feel something. And my believing in others is also a way of sharing myself. So that's kind of cool. I was thinking about romantic movies, and most of us watch romantic movies. I'm slowly weaning in. I'm doing it. Once a week I'll watch a romantic movie. And in the movies, if you see all the dramas and all the facades and all the disasters that happen, and then finally, one of them is being real with how they really feel, which means they're finally sharing their true selves. And then there's a chance that, okay, now there can be a real connection, and now the other person can really choose. But that's usually what we wait for in the whole movie. We're just waiting for that moment when that person will finally share his or her real feelings after all of the breakdown and the disaster it takes to get you there. So basically that, 2 minutes of a romantic movie when somebody's finally being real, and we all fall in love with that character. We're supposed to be like that all the time. That's you being honest and real. And now there's actually a chance for the environment to respond to you. And usually something happens. Now things can happen. Something real and energized can happen. So that was my example. Okay, so the last 3 bit of the questions are how to lovingly share myself. How do I lovingly share myself? How can I connect to the real self? And what actions can I take to share myself today? Which could be a lovely affirmation for every day. Or what action can I take to share myself right now? Could be another lovely affirmation to make. So, how to lovingly share myself? How can I connect to the real self? And what actions can I take to share myself today? Okay, the final 3 questions. How to lovingly share myself? How can I connect to the real self? And what actions can I take to share myself? You guys got some interesting answers? Good examples? Anita, I'm really curious. Do you feel like sharing?
Yeah, I was thinking I'm not going to share. Then Anita.
Say no.
Yeah, how to lovingly share myself. Be relaxed about myself, not judging myself and others. Experiment, play, be curious. I hate playing. Could never play. Ask others questions from genuine interest and feel that I am afraid of others. And when I start to blah, 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 out of fear, just be still and feel my fear.
Wow. Beautiful answers. Okay.
Yeah. How can I connect to real self? Through singing, being in nature, spend time with myself, my cat, pray to God, and seek my guides' company because they love to be with me.
Oh, wow.
And feel the fears I have with sharing myself, just being me. I have fears of just being still. Yes, my fears of just being still, just being me. Yeah. And the actions I can take to share myself lovingly today is feel the fear I have and terror of being cast out, rejected, and hated for just being me, being who I am. I really need to feel that.
Yeah. Just process it. Thank you. And one good question to ask is, God, how do you feel about me?
Yeah.
Very, very, very,
It is, yeah.
And very confronting and challenging, but, because it'll confront how terrible you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Jess?
Hi. I got how to lovingly share myself.
Yep.
Talking, listening, responding.
Okay.
But not an ego validating narrative, but learning how to really give through storytelling and invoke. And how do I lovingly share myself? How can I connect to my real self? When I write and share, very honest when I write and sink into my true self, but only if I stop imagining I'm writing for an audience.
Yeah. Good one.
Stream of consciousness journaling.
Yeah.
and then sinking into the truth of my emotions. Yeah, and so it's really helpful, but I have to get out of that.
Yeah.
I'm writing a book, I'm writing a memoir.
Yeah. Those are addictions. Yeah.
Yeah.
And your real feelings. So no one's home. Yeah, I'm challenging myself the same way. So yeah, thank you. And what did you get for actions?
Well, today specifically, after this, I'm sharing. I'm going to attempt to share of myself, and so it's a live painting.
Oh yeah,
it's an art jam.
Yeah.
So and then through thinking about that, feeling into that live paint, don't need to talk to share. Existing, doing what you love is enough. Passive sharing, simple, effortless, just being. It's not performative, perfect, packaged, polished. You are not a product. And I got authenticity.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Okay, anybody else? Jill, you're so quiet today.
Facing a lot of those addictions. Yeah. So how to lovingly share myself through facing the addictions. Listening was one of the ones that I got to. How can I connect to the real self? Staying in the flow. This was a big realization for this, I'm going to say, this whole entire week. So that's staying connected to that. Right now, me staying in the flow is complete chaos and panic, but that's because I have to stay in the flow. Little bit of a tantrum there. What addictions can I take, or what actions can I see? There we go. What actions can I take to share myself today? Yeah, like play, curiosity. I'm after this, I'm headed back out to the outside to the garden and doing as much as I can, as much as this physical body will allow me to do. That's what I do.
Okay, beautiful. Others who wants to share? Byron, do you want to share? Oh,
sorry. So yeah, I think it falls in line with what others are saying, but a little bit, mine's ramped up a little bit with feel my addiction to be right, to protect myself from being hurt, to cry. How can I lovingly connect to my real self is to cry, to breathe, to really feel, to have the temper tantrums, to really stay with them, to feel the rejection, to process it, to get angry, that this has happened in the first place. And then what actions can I take to share myself right now? I was really just staying with the anger, the hurt, because that's authentic for me. Yeah. Yeah, there's like there's a big no coming up for me, you know, like in the temper tantrum. No, you can't treat me that way. No.
Okay.
So just really being with that and seeing where that leads me. And I think, you know, I'm not always in that place, but I think the listening, the being, the gardening, doing what's authentically our passions is how I can really share myself.
Yeah. Being your passions. Thank you.
Yes, I too would put gardening and cooking in there for myself.
Yeah. Okay. I got be curious about my real feelings and motivations, because I don't even know what I really feel. I have to work at it. So be curious about what I'm really feeling. Be truthful at all times. I'll give myself a year. I'll get there somehow. Be aware of my feelings at all times. At all time, be aware. What am I really feeling right now? What am I really feeling right now would really help me to then share. If I don't even know what I'm feeling, what am I sharing? How can I connect to the real self? Experiment. Got it in a big way. Do what excites me, or be aware of what excites me. Imagine possibilities, imagine visions, imagine what I would like to see happen, and then take action on my exciting ideas. Be aware of what is it that excites me, and ask for guidance to stay in harmony with the real self. What actions can I take to share myself today? Share all my feelings, thoughts, doubts, and dreams with God. Talk to God more. Share myself with God more. Because even though God knows everything about you, you still have to make a choice to share that with God or your guides or anyone that is giving you the gift of time to listen to you, to be with you, to when you share and expose that emotion, that's when something can start to move and you actually become aware of what you're really feeling by the process of sharing. But I find that talking to God is really helpful, because that's one being that is very attentive, very present, really there, really interested. I felt it at times how interested God is in everything that we're doing, who we are, what are we sharing, what are we going to choose. Someone is really, really interested in everything you're about to do and say and think and feel. So you've got full attention. Everything you're seeking from the world, you're already getting it over here. It's very, very satisfying to experience it. So that's an encouragement for you. Experiment, try it. I would just try. I would just start to talk. And I think I'm feeling this, and I think I'm feeling that, and I'm mad about this, and I'm mad about that. And next thing you know, all this thing come out that I didn't even know I was feeling, and yet I was feeling like, oh, well, that is what I'm really feeling. Didn't even know that. So it's very helpful to get to know yourself. And then I get a little chuckle of an answer, and sometimes you'll get an answer. Sometimes if you let it, you'll feel an answer from God to all the things that you're talking about and sharing. Okay, wow, this has been a very good topic. Lots of things to think about. We could use another month of quarantine just to go into this material. Create our own quarantine version of life and just live in that. Don't go back into your addictive world. Okay, well, thank you so much for today.